Hello everyone and welcome to the Modern Money channel. Every day in this channel I'll talk about hot stocks that have potential to move higher in the following days. One thing that I do differently in this channel compared to other channels is that we're tracking the performance of all the stocks that we discuss in our videos. So far and since the beginning of this channel, we have made over $7,000 by risking only $1,000 per trade. Let's have a quick peek at the performance so far. So here is the spreadsheet for the stocks that we have discussed so far. We have talked about more than 20 stocks so far. At the moment, we had 6 trades that are completed, 5 winners and 1 loser. The loser was SWTX. And as I mentioned earlier, we risk $1,000 per trade. So if we lose like this one, we only lose $1,000. And we usually have an average reward to risk ratio of about 1.4. So if we win, we'll win more than $1,000. So far for the completed trades, we had 5 winners and 1 loser, which will give us the win rate of 83%, which is pretty high. So this number will go down to about 65% in future. It's not gonna remain that high. This is not very reasonable. So far we had a net profit of over $7,000 with an average reward to risk ratio of 1.4. Okay, now let's move on to the list of stocks that we're considering to trade for the next week. The first stock is CHMA. We have talked about this before when it was in this spot, and I was looking for going short when we hit this trend line again at this area, because this is a rising wedge and I expect that to go down. But yesterday I noticed that we had a break below this spot, this trend line. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go short at the retest of this trend line, and I went short at around $63.69, and I put my stop loss above this swing high at $70.63, and I'm aiming to cash out at around $49.42, which is above this resistance line. This will give me a reward to risk ratio of about 2, which is favorable. Let's see how this one plays. So the next stock that I want to talk about is RUN. We've talked about this stock before, and if you remember, we've talked about it when it was in this spot. So I was looking to go short if it would have broke below this spot. But today we got a better price. So I saw that we're playing with this trend line, and this is a bear flag, so this is a bearish pattern. And if you would have followed me in my channel, you know that I love to trade inside the patterns because that will give me a better reward to risk ratio. So I went short at $83.62, and I put my stop loss above this swing high at $89.69, and I'm looking to cash out at around this swing low. So I put my target at $65.05, which will give me a reward to risk ratio of 3. Let's see if this one will play out. The next stock is SRNE. We have talked about this stock before. I told you that I'm going to, let's go to the hourly chart. I told you that I'm going to watch for a false breakout to go long in this spot, and I went long in this spot because we can see a pennant, a bullish pennant here, a bullish pennant here, but I was like, this is not very strong. We may see a false breakout. As long as this low doesn't break, I love this pattern, and this is kind of a retest of this structure. I went long at $14.93, and right now I'm a little bit under the water. I think this is still a good opportunity unless it doesn't go below $13. So my stop loss is at $12.97, and my target is at $18.59, which will give me a reward to risk ratio of 1.8. I think this is still a good trade to get in. So let's go to the next stock, which is AMD. Let's go to the daily chart for AMD. Here for AMD, you can see that we have a clear bull flag, and today we broke the flag. So I went long at $93.77. My target is at $105.96, and my stop loss is at $84.54, which will give me a reward to risk ratio of 1.3. I love the pattern. Let's see how it plays. Okay, the next stock is PLUG, plug. We have talked about this before, and the pattern I think is clear now. So we had this diamond forming after a very long run. This diamond usually is a bearish pattern, and I saw this. I was going to go short at the low of this candle, which I went, and right now I'm short at 63.18, and I'm looking for 49.22, and my stop loss is above this swing high at $70.79, which will give me a reward to risk ratio of 1.4. Let's see how this one plays. The next stock is CHMA. We've talked about this when it was at $4. So this is for this one, you need to look at the 4-hour time frame. So the stock was beaten down, and for about 2 years it is consolidating, and I see this clear pattern on a weekly chart. And I talked about this when it was like 410, and I went long at I think 412. So I talked about it when it was in here, and we broke that, and now it is retesting this trend line. You can see that this trend line is being kind of respected because we can see multiple weeks. So for this one, let's go to the weekly again. I went in at $4.12. My stop is at $2.79, and I'm looking to cash out at $7.70. This pattern will probably take a couple of weeks or maybe a month to complete, but I love the pattern. Okay, let's move on to the next stock, which is IPOE. For IPOE, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Here you can see that IPOE is moving in a bull flag, and we just broke through the bull flag today. So here is the pole, here is the flag, and today we broke that. So I went long at $23.65. I put my stop loss below the swing low at $22.25, and I'm looking to cash out at the retest of the previous high. So I will cash out at $26.76, which will give me a reward to risk ratio of 2.2. The next stock that I want to talk about is OCGN. For OCGN, let's look at the 15-minute time frame because we will see the patterns much better. OCGN was trading a couple of months ago less than $1. Today it closed at around at $10, which is significant. So let's look at the patterns. What I love about this stock is that it shows multiple bullish pattern within a single window. So here you can see a bullish pennant right in here. We broke that. And then now in the purple section, you can see a falling wedge. We broke through that. We moved higher. Now in the blue pattern, you can see we had a falling wedge again. So for this stock, this is pretty similar to what we have discussed last week about MARA, one of our winning trades. So for let's go to the 4-hour time frame. If you remember, we saw like bull flag, and right after that another bull flag, and we caught MARA at this spot, and we cashed it around this spot. So it was a winning trade. Multiple bullish trends back to back. Similar thing is happening in OCGN. Let's go to the 15-minute. A bullish pennant, a falling wedge which is bullish, another falling wedge which is bullish. So when I saw this today, when I saw this wedge was broken, I went long at the retest of this line. So I went long at $10.43. I put my stop loss below this low at $8.79 here. And I'm looking for a retest of the previous high. The previous high was at $8.60-70, but I'm going to lock my profit before that at $17.81, which will give me a fantastic reward to risk ratio of 4.5. Let's see if this one plays out, but I like the pattern. And the last stock that we're going to cover today is SOS. SOS was proposed by one of our reviewers, Jeff Parido. Thanks, Jeff, for introducing this stock. Let's move on to the 4-hour time frame. What I see about SOS is that it is in a bull run. If we go to the, I think, weekly, yeah, what I see is that the price seems to want to retest this high, and so which is around $8.50. If you already have the stock and you bought it at these spot, like around $2, $3 ish, congratulations. I recommend, if I were you, I would probably like cash out in this spot, or at least cash out the portion of my shares. But I don't see any reason to short this stock or go long. When you go to smaller time frames, let's say 4 hour, I don't see any reason to short this stock. It's pretty bullish. We can see big candles. This is a pin bar. This is still bullish. But I'm not going to go long at this spot because it is too high, and I don't see a clear pattern to go long. I don't know where to put my stop loss if I go long at this spot, and I would probably cash in here, but where should I put my stop loss? So my recommendation for you is that if you have the stock already, like if you bought it at $2, $3, $4, if I were you, I would just keep it and try to cash out most of my stocks at $8.50, but I'm not gonna touch this at the moment. Once it reached to this $8.50 mark, I expect, because this is pretty bullish, I expect to see some consolidation, something probably like, when we get here, I would probably look for a bullish pennant like around here. Then I would consider probably going long, or maybe we see something like a rising wedge, which is very common at these spots. Then I'll probably go long around $8, but at the moment I'm not gonna touch it. But this is a great stock, and I think it has potential to even go higher. So thanks for introducing that. I'll keep an eye on it, and if I see any bullish pattern, I'll let you guys know. That is all for this video, guys. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to my channel to get informed about the future list of stocks that may break out soon, and also please destroy the like button for the YouTube algorithms. And if you want me to analyze any specific stock, please mention that in the comment section, and I'll go over that in the next video. Trade safely and never risk more than what you can afford to lose. See you in the next video.